Hi and welcome back. We're making progress on the drums, and in this video we're going to focus on the snare. Now the snare close mic is really going to help us because we're getting the snare through the overheads, but the close mic is really going to help us define the sound, and we want to get a nice snap on the snare for this style of music. So we'll start by processing it through the Pro channel, and then we'll decide if we need to add a sample to it a little bit later on. Alright, so I'll play back and isolate the snare. All right, well, one thing you can hear is that there is a lot of bleed from other mics in this. Now, we could leave that in there, and a lot of times that's done, but I think in order to do the processing on this correctly, I really want to isolate it at least somewhat. So I'm going to open the Pro channel, and we'll use the SSL style PC4K gate in order to do this. So I'll activate the gate, we'll put it into the gate mode. We're going to need fast attack. And then we'll adjust these. Now the range control adjusts how much gating we get. So it works like an expander in that this will turn it down somewhat. The more that you turn this knob up, the more silent the parts below the threshold get. So we'll adjust the threshold. We don't need perfect gating. And then we'll need to adjust the release time so we don't cut off the snare sound. So I'll play back and we'll get that set up. All right, so I've got the gate set up. Now, one thing that I was concerned about is there's a lot of small articulations on the snare. Those are coming through the overheads. So I'm going to use the close mic to bring out the body of the bigger snare hits. I'm going to go ahead and allow the gate to mostly gate out those articulations. That's what I was thinking about when I was working on those adjustments there. Following the gate, I want to go into a compressor. And for this compressor, I'm not going to use the channel compressor. I'm going to replace this with the PC76U style compressor. And I also want to position it after. So we'll position it after the gate. So we'll go gating and then into the compressor. And now I'll adjust the compressor while playing back. And I'm going to leave this 100% wet. So we're going to use it like a normal 1176. I'm going to engage the all buttons or the infinite ratio mode. We're going to drive into that ratio and then adjust the release time and the attack time to try to get some punch on these snares. All right, you can see that when we drive into the compressor that way, you can see it adds a lot more dynamics to that snare part as we work with the compressor. I really like the way that's sounding. Now, I could go into the standard EQ, but I want to bring in one of the cool soft tube modules for the Pro channel. And so for that, I'm going to insert the module called the passive equalizer. So I'm going to bring this up right after the compression. Now the passive equalizer only has 3 bands to work with. What we're going to do is add a little top end with the highs here, and then we're going to add some body to the snare using this selectable frequency here and then a little bit of a boost. I'll play back as I dial those in, and you'll hear the effect of the close mic, but also along with the rest of the mics in the drums.
Like the devil don't care. Try to push me in this hole in the ground, and I'll take you down.
Now with this Pro channel setup, the snare is really starting to come together. I think it's got a nice in-your-face quality, and at this point, I don't think it's necessary to add a sample. I might change my mind later on, but right now, I feel like we've got what we need for the snare sound. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.